Hello everyone. On Saturday, I went to London to compete in London's Finest Sinister Cup, and I just thought it would be cool if I go over for the videos that I did. There were a lot of people, 195. Unfortunately, not everyone was able to make it, but we still got our 8 rounds. I managed to do pretty well. I came 6-2. So that's, where is it? Right over here. Yep. So I thought it would be good to show what the mistakes I made were and some of my opponents' mistakes as well, because they were, well, all of them were quite funny. So yeah. So just to go over my team, I was running Steelix, pretty core in the meta, hits everything pretty well. Good late game with no shields of Earthquake. As my second steal, I like running Mawile. It's a pretty strong lead if you get the right matchup, and has potential late game against its counters of Play Rough as well. Polyrath, I ran Dynamic Punch, Ice Punch Polyrath. I felt that was pretty good against other Polyrath leads, and I wasn't really liking Power Up Punches usage in certain matchups. Driftblim, basically 10% chance to win the game, so why not run it? I got pretty salty playing against these guys in some cups, so decided to run it myself. I feel Dusclops is a very solid pick, very tanky, survives a lot of hits. I think he kind of, it's like you run 3 shields with him. Hits everything for super effective, very solid choice. Medicham pretty much beats all the fighters and all the tanks, so covers most of the meta just by himself. So just quick rundown of my team. So my first battle was against Nanny Roach. Well, this is technically my second battle because after they said make sure if you want to record your battles that you delete or make enough space for them. So I decided to delete like every video I've ever made for Pokemon Go. And then my phone kind of crashed, and so I decided to restart it, and then it wouldn't restart for like 5 minutes, and I was losing my shit as everyone was finishing their rounds. And yeah, the first game I played after my phone rebooted was really slow. I played quite bad as well, made some stupid switches. But yeah, just summarizing my strategy when in this game, I basically use either lead Medicham or Mawile, but I think I led Medicham this game, and I used Dusclops as a safe switch so that if I go in against another Dusclops, a Ghost against the Medicham, I have something like the Dusclops to switch into that will do well against everything. So I did okay against the Dusclops, and then it came in with the Steelix, and I baited a few Shadow Punches and Fire Punches, which lets me gain some extra energy. And yeah, from then on, I'm pretty sure you guys can make out the rest. I think I'm gonna let the Steelix go here so I could farm it up, farm the Polyrath, sorry, with my Medicham, so that I could have enough energy for Psychic for the Dusclops. And I have the shield here just in case it has a Shadow Punch or other coming for me. So I decided to lead with Medicham again, and I won the lead, so he'll probably switch out soon. Medicham still beats Polyrath, so I'm just going to go for Power Up Punches and boost up on that attack. I didn't know that this dude had a Hydro Pump though, so not a good start. But I do still have my all-rounder Dusclops that can finish the job for me. And now that I know he has Hydro Pump, he won't get there in time, so I can just tank the Power Up Punch and just keep throwing away Shadow Punches and just farm it for energy here, because it's not going to hurt me that much in preparation for the next Pokemon, which will probably be the Mawile again. And here I try to go for the fire punch, but unfortunately he shields. Sorry. I try to bait another shield of shadow punch, but she doesn't, so not great. I try to go for the fire punch before dying and get the last shield. And when I see this happen, I decide let's go for the Steelix and start farming energy for those earthquakes. Now, I think it was a mistake switching to Steelix here, but at this stage, I don't know what you could have done because now he has no shields and I can just go for earthquakes and I can just shield this, whether it's crunch or earthquake, pretty safely. So yeah, I think that was a mistake. I think at least try to finish me off as much as you can with those damage boosts on the Mawel. But yeah. Good game.
Well
Pleasure
done.
playing with you.
That really put me off with everybody finishing and moving about.
Yeah.
I couldn't see what was coming.
Sure. So my next opponent was Benoit, and I decided to go with Mawel lead, which was very good given this was a Hex Lol Marowak, so I could just easily hit it. I decide to use the power-up punch and then instantly switch out so that I can catch this power-up punch after the bubble on the Medicham, and when I come back with Mawel, it will have boosted attack as soon as it's ready. And I'm not gonna use any shields here because these are all probably gonna be power-up punches. I tried to bait for the psychic, but he doesn't fall for it. And I thought this was going to be another power-up punch actually, but this is a double power-up punch boosted ice punch, which knocks me out. Now it's almost dead, and I decided to just kill it with the Mawel and try to get him some more energy to get that second power-up punch. Now at this stage I'm pretty comfortable because I have both my shields, so I can shield 2 earthquakes, but he only did 5 attacks here, so I definitely know it's crunch, meaning I don't have to shield it. And at this stage you really should try to at least save energy to earthquake first and then decide whether to crunch or earthquake, because if you don't, that just gives us an easy chance to not need to shield. So you need to force them to at least think about shielding or not, which basically gives me the opportunity to shield this Alola Marowak and finish it off easily. So for my second game, I decided to lead Poliwrath because I was up 1 game and he doesn't know what my Poliwrath has, which is pretty good. But he obviously switches to his Poliwrath counter, which is Medicham, and I can then switch into my Medicham counter, which is my Drifblim, which will not take any damage from counter or power-up punch. So I was expecting some baits given he's behind, but he didn't bait a single time and I didn't shield any of these psychics. But that is okay because I still have the Dusclops, which does pretty well against the Medicham too. And I was adamant on not shielding because I knew one of these was going to be a power-up punch eventually. Then he switches out. Probably he needs the Medicham to finish the Poliwrath, which is probably a good idea. But now that he has no shields, I can just destroy this Marowak pretty easily as those shadow punches go really fast. Now I do still need this to beat Medicham, so I'm kind of scared of Shadow Ball, so I decided to shield both. And I wasn't really counting properly and decided to shield both there. But now I have plenty of energy for anything that might come. I instantly switch so I can kill this, and as soon as he switches I just throw my ice punch off because I know it's going to be Medicham, and I farm it down, and now that he has no shields I can easily finish this off as well. So a pretty comfortable win. So for the final battle I decided to go Medicham, thinking he would use the Mawel to take care of my ghosts that have been causing him trouble, but he predicts correctly, or better than me anyway, with his Dusclops, meaning I have to go into my Dusclops, which I've been using as a safe switch most of the tournament. Now I am at an energy disadvantage, meaning he is going to get to those shadow punches before me. But because Hex gives you 11 energy and Shadow Punch is only 40 energy, at a certain stage I'm going to catch up where it's not going to matter because of those remainder ones is going to add up. So, but that only happens when the battle goes really long, like this one. And so here we're actually going to get Shadow Punch at the same time. So he does win CMP there, which means I don't really get the advantage back. And he's going to get another Shadow Punch off on the Drifblim, but at the very least I can farm it down for a good Shadow Ball. He goes into his Poliwrath, and I try to get a favorable matchup here by switching into the Medicham, hoping to get to Psychic before he can switch, and then saving the Shadow Ball for whatever, but he manages to switch bang on the Psychic on the Marowak. So here I need to go for another Psychic. I'm surprised he goes for Bone Club here, which means I can kind of feint it down. Barely. But that just means his Poliwrath can farm me down. But that's why I decide to switch, so I can get the Shadow Ball off before he can get an Ice Punch off. But unfortunately, it's barely not enough, and I'm just hoping I can kill this guy with counters, but not.
Good finish, good finish, good finish.
So I'm just going to quickly analyze the last few battles here. I decided to switch and not use the Shadow Ball because I was hoping to get the Psychic off before he could switch, and then saving the Shadow Ball for anything he might have at the back. Now, unfortunately, he does switch, meaning I don't get that super effective damage here. But what I found interesting was that he didn't go for Shadow Ball, even though he can get to it before my Psychic. Now, if he used the Shadow Ball here instead of 2 Bone Clubs, he could have killed the Medicham and then force my Drifblim to use the Shadow Ball, or use its energy on the Marowak, and then use the Poliwrath to finish the Drifblim. But he doesn't do that. Now I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna farm this guy, my Medicham, down. So I need to quickly switch and get the Shadow Ball off before he gets to the Ice Punch and basically risk a CMP tie. But it doesn't kill him anyway, and he managed to feint me down. So maybe if I kept the Medicham and just feinted him, with fast attacks, and then try to go with the Shadow Ball after, I might have won, but he would have had enough energy to use the Ice Punch on the Drifblim, so it would have been a CMP tie, and I didn't want to take that risk. But obviously, that was the best outcome, and unfortunately, I was very close. Also, that previous CMP with the Dusclops might have helped me win as well. But yeah, very close game. So for this game, I was playing against Toe Technical, who was 7th or 8th ranked in the world last season, and first in Europe, of course. So I was pretty nervous that I had to play this, big shot, big name so early on in the tournament. But I had seen some of his videos, and I know he likes to lead Poliwrath, which is why I decided to go with Medicham. So I was very happy with this initial lead advantage. So he's going to switch into his Marowak, and I decided to go Mawel because I didn't see the Fire Spin, and I didn't shield because I thought it would be a Bone Club. So he instantly dies, so I go back into my better switch of Dusclops. Now here I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna go for a shield bait now, surely, right? Nope. So at this stage, I'm pretty much dead. I'm surprised he didn't shield bait any of those, given I would assume that if you're losing the lead advantage, you need to sort of gain an advantage by trying to gain something from nothing by bone clubbing a shield, basically. But I guess it worked just as well that he went for a big move and hoped that I didn't shield it. I think if I shielded both of those, I probably would have won. Yeah, but at this stage, it's pretty much GG. But at this stage, I can just try to see what moves his Poliwrath has. And I think it had Ice Punch. I think that was the only thing that was revealed, so I can use that information. Yeah, so I'm a little annoyed, but I decided to go with the same lead, thinking he would do the same, and I was correct again. So he does the exact same switch, and this time I change it up and I use Drift Blim. Now I'm thinking, he's probably gonna Shadow Ball, like he did last time. So, and I probably should have gone for Shadow Ball and then Ominous Wind, so I could at least force a shield. I don't think I was counting properly. I thought he would shield bait here, but I guess this guy just doesn't like shield baiting, so I lose all my energy there, and I should have instantly switched here probably, just so I could have a better matchup. Yeah, so I'm already behind on one shield, so it's not looking good for me. I know Dusclops can beat Medicham under 2 shield scenarios, but he does have an extra shield on me, so it's not looking good for me. I try to catch an Ice Punch here, which I do, and I try to bait the Power Up Punch here, but he doesn't really go for it. Maybe he miscounted as well. But at this stage, I think he knows I have Psychic because I use the shield. So I use that to my advantage and try to bait. And I finally bait a shield off him. Unfortunately, I can't get to the Psychic in time. And at this game, I think he still has a shield against my almost at Dusclops. So at this stage, it's another loss for me. Very, very cleanly handing my ass to me. Yep. So for my final game, I decided to lead Poliwrath as I hadn't showed what moves I have, so I thought I could use that to my advantage. And I win the lead for the 3rd time, so he's going to instantly switch into his Claydol, which he brings for the first time. I probably shouldn't have Ice Punch. I should have just instantly switched to the Mawile, and I should not have shielded this because he survives the Earth Power. Unless I didn't Ice Punch, then I should have shielded. But yeah, one or the other, not both. So here I decide to go up to play rough and then shield bait. And he knows how far it is to play rough, so I do get the shield bait off him. And at this stage, now that the Claydol's dead, I don't need this Mawile anymore of Steelix and Poliwrath, so I just let it die. Actually, I don't. I decide to switch it out and hope that I could use it as a extra shield by switching. So I'm getting these fire punches off, and I'm almost killing this. Now I'm thinking this is probably going to be Earthquake because he did go for a while. I haven't really been counting so far, but after the last 2 games, I think I decided to start counting just so I could have that advantage. I thought I could get the Shadow Punch off, but he does a double Ice Punch, so I lose all that energy on the Dusclops, which is kind of sad. Now he does have a shield, and I think at this stage I knew he had Dynamic Punch, and as you can see, I tried to switch it there, but I couldn't get it. So I know he has the shield here, so I go for the Ice Punch, and I go for a second one because I'm gonna die before getting to the Dynamic Punch, and I barely lose.
Close. Almost. That was close.
Now, looking at my next opponent's team, you can see that the Mawile, Poliwrath, and Steelix are weak to Medicham, and the Marowak, Haunter, and Dusclops are weak to Mawile. So I always run those 2 with a Dusclops safe switch. Depending on the lead, I just kind of switch it up. I win the lead here against Haunter. At this stage, I don't think it's gonna kill me, the Shadow Punch, so I just farm away. At this point, I can just throw away my Mawile because he's killed the ghost. I'm just going to do as much damage as I can. Now, she should not have shielded this. You never want to shield against a Mawile, like almost ever. It's almost always going to be a power-up punch, which is not going to do any damage. So I let it think here, and I bring my Medicham here. Now, I thought he was going to switch, which is why I had the switch ready to go, so I can instantly switch back. I'm going to use a power-up punch, but I'm not going to click any of these. I click maybe a few of these just to do a bit of damage, not to feint it, so that I could feint it down with my fast attacks to gain an energy advantage. just in case something that needed to be something that needed to be psychicked comes out. But it's only the Mawile, which I can easily faint down with power up punches. So a pretty comfortable win on my end. So I made a few mistakes this game. First one was leading with Medicham, but that isn't a huge deal because I always can go into my Dusclops safe switch, and I don't think she needed to shield that because the Shadow Punch doesn't do a lot of damage, but doesn't matter too much. I successfully shield a Shadow Ball, which is pretty much going to save me the Dusclops, and I will continue to use these Shadow Punches. I'm surprised to use both shields for Shadow Punches, and I guess she really wanted to get both Shadow Balls off, and luckily I do shield both, so I do have a full Dusclops, well, half full Dusclops I suppose, ready for the next battle. And against my opponent's Dusclops, I know I'm going to lose, so I'm just going to do as much damage as I can. And then bring in my Mawile. Now, at this point, I pretty much throw away the game. The first mistake was instantly switching to Medicham here. Even if I think I wanted to save my Medicham from this earthquake, which is why I kept it, but even Medicham will survive an earthquake. Another mistake was not using the power up punch earlier so that I don't get into this CMP tie situation. So I don't click any of these power up punch bubbles just so I could feint it down and get some more energy. So those two mistakes cost me the game because I don't get to psychic fast enough. So if I farm the Steelix a bit, if I used the power up punch a bit earlier, I wouldn't have gotten that crunch and I would have gotten the psychic off. So for my final game, I decided to change my team quite a bit, but go for the same lead, which means I have to switch. This isn't going to kill me, so no shield required. I tried to get the Ominous Wind, but she switches bang on time. But for some reason she shields. If you were counting up to 4, you knew it was going to be Ominous Wind, so I go up to 5 this time for Shadow Ball, which is why I shield, so I can get it off. And knowing she previously shielded, I was confident she wouldn't shield this, which was correct. Unfortunately though, she is going to farm me down, meaning she is 1 attack away from Earthquake, or 2 even, and I didn't need to shield this because I know it survives and I could just feint it down and then get the psychic off, but I do shield, but at least I can get the last shield off because this is probably going to be a psychic. Now, she makes a lot of mistakes here. Firstly, she uses Shadow Punch instead of Fire Punch. Secondly, switching here when I'm almost at Earthquake, which is basically going to one-hit KO the Alolan Marowak. If she used the Dusclops to whittle down the Steelix and then finish it off with a Alolan Marowak with fire attack, with fast attack, sorry, she could then use the Alolan Marowak to finish the Medicham in the back, but she doesn't.
Woo! Closer. Close one. Close one.
Now, these next few games with Marcelo were probably my favorite in the tournament because there was a lot of little bits of banter that I had with him. But to continue on with the first game, Polarath against Driftblim, pretty solid win, assuming he doesn't switch. Just keep going for ice punches. He kind of has to shield. But when he switches into his Marowak, I'm going to go into my Dusclops. Shield this Shadow Ball, and then I'm going to get to 2 Shadow Punches and fire them off back to back. I won't knock you out, I promise. You don't have to shield. But this one will. Shit. That was evil. I mean, pretty good stuff, pretty funny memes. So now I have enough energy for almost 2 fire punches now that I've farmed that Marowak. and then I'm going to switch into my Poliwrath to finish it off with no shields with my Dynamic Punch. But we both switch at the same time, and I try to change the attack to Ice Punch, but he gets to the Ominous Wind first. I should have gone into Steelix. I thought I had more energy on Dusclops, but I didn't, so he's just gonna get a free kill on that. Now I'm kind of counting how much attacks he has. He does a Shadow Ball here, meaning it'll reset to 0, so 4 hexes get to Ominous Wind, and I use Crunch when he gets to 3, so he does not get it before me. I'm just gonna get the Earthquake first. No way. CMP.
You got the Earthquake.
Oh, is this a Crunch? Aw.
Did you get the Earthquake?
I did, yeah.
Close.
I should have used the Crunch one attack after the Drifloon. But if I did, you might have gotten the Ominous Wind, and then you would have just crunched. Because you were 1 away, right? Let's count.
Yeah, I figured.
Fucking CMP. Fucking. I decided to completely change my team after that defeat. Leading with the Drifloon against Mawile, you definitely want to switch. Now, with the Dusclops, even though he's taking super effective damage, the Fire Punches is going to do super effective damage too. I did try to bait with the Shadow Punch there, but he didn't really shield. And especially now that he's got the attack boost, he should have just finished me off. He still has his 2 shields. But he decided to change, so now he's going to eat 2 of these Shadow Punches when he didn't need to at all. And now he's almost dead. Now, what's really interesting, the Bite of the Mawile activated before the Shadow Ball that he had, and I think that's because Bite is so fast that I basically clicked on my screen to attack before he clicked on his Shadow Ball. So basically those milliseconds difference between you not touching the screen and touching the screen as you're tapping was the difference that made it there. So if someone's on 1 HP with a with a charge move ready to go, you should switch in with something like Water Gun or Bite or Dragon Breath, because you might be able to just kill them with 1 fast attack before they can actually use their charge move. I do get the attack boost here on the Drifloon and I win, but I think because of his previous switching mistakes, I think I would have won regardless. So for the final game, seeing as he likes Drifloon so much, I decided to lead with the Poliwrath. Unfortunately, I am met with its top counter, the Medicham. So I go into my safe switch, the Dusclops once again. Firing off those Shadow Punches, I'm going to get to them faster than the Ominous Winds. So I'm not too worried at this stage. I can continue to shield to maintain my advantage, and he's gonna have to shield here, or yeah, he shields, and I'm not sure if I survive this, but just to be safe, I think he should have, yeah, I think if he continued he would have died, so he decided to switch there. There's no shields, but I was confident I could feint this down with bubbles, and so now I have a lot of energy, and I had a good idea that he was going to go back in with Drifloon, so I just fire off the Ice Punch immediately, and now it's only the Medicham left, and I still have all of my Pokemon. I decide to use the Mawile, even though it's kind of bad, just because I thought it would be interesting to finish with that.
Should have boosted it first. Oh no.
It's all ogre! Yeah, Marcelo was a lot of fun to play with. He had a lot of very funny and interesting things to say. Definitely a delight to play with. Good luck with the rest of the season, and thank you for the games. GG. So for my next opponent, I wasn't too worried, even though his team was quite off meta, because half of his team once again is weak to Medicham, and the other half is weak to Mawile. So long as I lead with one of those and have the Dusclops safe switch, I'm going to be okay. I decided to go with the Mawile here instead of the Medicham. Obviously the Medicham would have been better, but I have to switch to my Dusclops. And then he switches into his Frostlass. Now, this is the first time I've played against a Frostlass, so I wasn't really sure how fast he can get to Shadow Ball or Avalanche. Avalanche does a lot of damage as well with stab, so I decided to shield anyway. For both of them, especially the second one because it's Shadow Ball. And then I get a bit greedy here and I just fainted down. So I'm probably, he probably had another Avalanche there. But now I'm sitting with a lot of energy. I don't have shield advantage though, but that's okay because if you win a battle with Dusclops, you're gonna basically get the second shield off anyway, as you can see. I don't know why he switched to Marowak. He probably wanted to get rid of all my energy so that he can get to Shadow Ball, farm up to Shadow Ball when he has, now that I have no shields, but I'm able to feint it down. I don't click on all of these because I don't want to kill it. This way, when he gets the second Bone Club off, my Mawile is almost dead, meaning he can only get one bubble's worth of energy. So I basically ensure he doesn't get too much energy on me. But I do have the Medicham to finish him off. So, like I said, those three Pokemon cover the meta very well, especially this team. So knowing that these three work really well, I just continue with the same three. Lead with the Mawile again. Against his Marowak, I just decided to shield just to force him to switch and get this power up punch so I can switch easily without getting too many bubbles. What I like to do when using Medicham against Poliwrath, I like to go to 10 counters. So that means it could be a psychic, and if it isn't, I can get, well, I obviously go power up punch bait, but then I can do another one back to back. So it forces them to decide whether to shield or not, and then lets me get a second one in as well. He's forced to use the Ice Punch here so he can maintain the switch advantage. I decided to go in with Mawile here because I'm only going to take a bubble or two. And knowing he has Marowak in the back as well, that is almost dead. And yeah, now I go ham on this guy. I don't decide to shield because I don't know what he has in the back. But he does have the Frostlass. And now this is just going to easily kill this because it resists the Powder Snow. So another solid win, only needing 2 Pokemon. So for the final battle, going to use the same lead once again and the same safe switch as usual, and sticking to these tactics that I've been using against this team has been working very well. We know from just the last several games, Dusclops wins Poliwrath in all shielding scenarios, so we're just going to see how it goes and basically match him for shields. But even though he uses a shield here, I don't have to use mine, and just because mine is very tanky. I think he did say early, after this game that his Poliwrath doesn't have very good IVs, so yeah, easily taking that. So I'm just going to let him feint just to maintain switch advantage so that when he switches here, he's probably going to have to switch here, and I know when he switches, I'm just going to instantly switch because I know it's Lucario, and I managed to get the power-up punch on the Medicham, saving me a shield. So it's very important to remember what Pokemon opponents have in the back so that you can, if you know that they're gonna, if you see them switching, you know what's gonna be, so you can instantly switch and catch a move or two off. I tried to bait the Psychic previously there, so I'm gonna have to go for it here. Try to get the defense debuff for the Mawile, and he makes a big mistake here, as you can see.
Guess what? I clicked the wrong
move.
Yeah, if you had gone for maybe 3 bone clubs, maybe.
Oh no, I think it would have definitely.
I think you might have taken it, maybe. It doesn't do a lot of damage.
And also, see, I had 2 now, but Bite's just so fast.
Yeah.
No,
Good
well
game.
played, well played.
So coming up against my 7th opponent, I decided to use the same strategy because it's been giving me a lot of success. The Mawel against half of his team and the Medicham against the other half. But you're going to soon see that this strategy doesn't always work. So I win the lead. You could say win because I do need to use at least 1 shield, and if he doesn't shield bait with the shadow punches, I do go into the red. So the fire spin Marowak is going to finish me off, and now I am at energy disadvantage and a shield disadvantage. And so I feel it was going to be a shadow ball. I probably should have let that go, and now he's going to easily get to shadow ball before I can finish him off, and he has shields to spare. So this shadow ball is going to kill me, and now I have Medicham in the back, and I was thinking maybe if I can kill this thing of Psychic, hopefully a Poliwrath or a Steelix I can easily finish, but unfortunately it is a Gardevoir that you're about to see. So he used all 3 of his Medicham counters, and all 3 of them are weak to Mawile, which he killed early on. So my thinking process coming into the second game was he won me the first game, so he's probably going to change his team because he knows that I'm going to have to change my team to beat his first team. So using sort of reverse psychology, I decide not to change my team at all, hoping that he'll change his team, which I then can counter. But unfortunately, he doesn't change his team either, so this is going to be an uphill battle. And yeah, I do manage to kill the... No, I take both his shields down here, and obviously at this stage I don't know what he has in the back, so I'm still saving my shields. Looking back, I should have shielded because now it's going to be a repeat of the game. Like I said before, I thought he would change up his team, so I was keeping my shields, but if I used all my shields on the Mawile, it would tear through his Dusclops, Marowak, and his Gardevoir at the back. But he's very good at shield baiting. So yeah, not gonna stand a chance using the same tactics as before. So going into the third game, I've already lost, so I was thinking he has nothing to lose. He's gonna change his team up, so I'm not going to change my team, hoping for that one Medicham good matchup. But I lose the lead again, so I switch into my Dusclops and I just farm away. He switches to his Fire Spin Marowak, which is actually quite bad against the Dusclops. I know he likes to shield bait, and so I don't shield here, and I think I shield the next one because he will probably go for a last Hail Mary Shadow Ball. I'm not sure if I was counting properly. He maybe didn't have it, but I would have survived that. And so getting off this last Shadow Punch before this Gardevoir farms me down, and he does manage to farm a bit of energy on the Charm, but I'm not so worried because Charm gives you very little energy in return. So I switch into my Medicham, where 1 shield each. I'm pretty confident I can beat this thing, and then I can just finish off the Mawile, finish off the Gardevoir with my Mawile, sorry. I was thinking I can use my shields here because it doesn't really matter. I just need to win because the Gardevoir isn't going to get a charge move off. So what I do here is I let it feint me down so the Gardevoir doesn't give me a lot of energy, but that's not really going to matter, as you can see. I actually stopped attacking because I didn't want you to farm on this guy, so I can kill him before he gets the charge. Oh, he got the charge anyway? Okay, I would have lost either way then. Okay. Not a good strategy. Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna hit the Poliwrath with my Medicham because I wanna. If I kill him, the Gardevoir will farm my Medicham and then kill my Mawile. But you had so much energy anyway that it didn't matter. So going up against my final opponent, which will be Kev Killer K. He used to be an ace trainer last season, so I was a bit worried to be playing a very good player again. But he's a pretty cool guy. I have met him in Dortmund, so also happy to be playing with him. Winning the lead here and then instantly switching to Poliwrath when he switches after losing the lead. I knew this was Earthquake and I was just going to tank it because I knew I would survive it. I should have gone for Ice Punch here, or even better, just feint it with bubbles. That way I could get an Ice Punch or two off onto this Gardevoir, forcing shields. Going into the Steelix because I know I can tank these charms better than my Drifblim can. I decided not to shield because I'm just kind of following him on the shielding. And I get a bit greedy here and farm it down. Unfortunately, we both faint at the same time. And when I see his final Pokemon, I pretty much give up because it's two shields. Yeah, so what I should have done was shielded the Poliwrath and the Steelix, because then I have two good counters for the Bastiodon. I could have also used Drifblim instead of Steelix after his Gardevoir fainted my Poliwrath. He would have probably killed me with Charms, but at least could have gotten a few shields off, and then I could have farmed the Gardevoir with my Steelix and have Earthquake ready for Bastiodon. I didn't really use Dusclops against Kev these games because of his Bastiodon. The Bastiodon can basically farm Dusclops very easily, so I don't use Dusclops just because I'm so scared of Bastiodon and the huge advantage it can have. So knowing that, I decide to go with the Medicham and win the lead, and after switching to Medicham I go to Drifblim to get this nice super effective damage in. Now I knew this could have been a second Psychic, and I was hoping the first one was going to be a bait, but I decided to just let it die so that I can just faint it down with the Medicham. Now, he had a Bastiodon, so I'm going to see his third Pokemon here, which is going to be the Gardevoir again. I'm going to use the Power Up Punch and then use the animation to switch safely into my Steelix. Now, the Dragon Tail, I need 7 Dragon Tails to get to Earthquake, and he needs 7 Smackdowns to get to Flamethrower, except Earthquake does that much damage and Flamethrower does maybe like a third. So at the very best, I was always gonna get to Earthquake first because I was there, so I always went for Earthquake whether he shielded or not. If we both used both our shields, I would have gotten to Earthquake first, so there's no point in shield baiting, which is what happened there. He probably should have shielded and tried to take me down as much as I can with Flamethrowers and Smackdowns, because then this Gardevoir could maybe feint me down with fast attacks. But now that I have both my shields, well, one more shield, I could just finish this guy off quite easily. So he definitely should have shielded the Bastiodon against the Earthquake. So given how much he likes Gardevoir and Bastiodon, I decided to lead with my old strategy with the Mawile, because the Mawile can beat both of them using shields, and he can actually farm the Bastiodon for attack boosts using both shields, and then can wreck the rest after getting like 2 or 3 power-up punches. So I win the lead here, so pretty happy with that. He's going to switch after tanking this power-up punch so that it doesn't become super effective on the Steelix, but then I'm going to switch into my Medicham, easily going to win this matchup. And I learned my lesson. I am not going to shield this Earthquake because the Gardevoir will just farm me down, so I'll just finish it off with as little HP as possible, and even try to get the Psychic off when the Gardevoir comes back and get the shield off. So when he dies, I bring the Dusclops in, try to farm it down, This is probably going to be a Psychic or a Shadow Ball, so definitely good use of shield there. Then he switches into his Bastiodon. Now, this is the matchup I was scared of, but I can switch. And he has, my Mywell has one attack boost, and now he'll have two, meaning I'll be able to kill this before he gets to the second Flamethrower. But it's probably going to be close. I actually mess up. I didn't get the Excellent. If I got the Excellent, I would have probably killed it. But I get a bit greedy here. I feel I had to farm it down with fast attacks so that I could use the double Shadow Punch on the Gardevoir because I didn't know how much HP it had. But yeah.
Oh! Shouldn't have swapped.
Why not?
I could have done another smackdown. And now I didn't.
Another fast attack?
Fast attack, yeah.
But it's quite... I think he would have survived.
Yeah, but if I would have done...
Oh, the switching would have been delayed, yeah.
I wouldn't have done the switch, and then you would have thrown your charge.
But then I would have... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I would have been... I think I was going to farm him down. That's what I'm just going to farm him down and then save for... I didn't know how much HP the thing had, and you had the shield. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have done a charm, for definitely.
Yeah, maybe.
But now I...
Yeah. Good game.
Yeah. Salty I lost, but...
So there you have it. That's my weighted Sinister Cup from last season, which I did in London. Pretty happy with my score in the end, 6-2. A lot of good competition, and yeah, I only went 3-0 once, so the games were all very close. A lot of mistakes on both sides, not just me, and very, very close games. Thank you for watching. This is the first time I've done a sort of Pokemon Go YouTube video. If you guys want me to do some more of these, this is mainly for educational purposes / entertainment. So if you want me to do some more, if you have any tips or advice, if I'm too boring, if I should give more memes, talk more shit, flame my opponents or whatever, or if I should do more in-depth analysis. I only did some quick fast-forwarded games. I did a bit of analysis, but I didn't do in-depth. So yeah, like and subscribe and all that YouTube shenanigan jazz. Thank you very much.